What would you attribute, some of those issues to that you'd like to correct?
It seems like every game we play, we're battling just some things that the game flow can sometimes bring you, whether it be some calls going your way, whether it be some high scoring quarters. They scored 48 in the fourth quarter. I don't know if we're going to get many wins if we allow 48 points in any quarter. So, it's a tough night when you're giving up that many points, and it's a tough night when you're not particularly, doing the little things that could create some separation. Down the stretch, we had that game. It should have been ours. So, we just look at ourselves in the mirror and just see where we can correct as individuals and as a group, just especially on the effort. I couldn't guard a stick today. Those guys were just going right around me. And, I was getting frustrated a little bit, but they kept attacking. And that's what good teams do and good scorers do. So.
If you could take us in the locker room, what's the communication like amongst teammates when, again, there are struggles defensively, some miscues down the stretch? There's a lot of veterans in that locker room. What's the communication like as you refocus?
Well, number one is just reminding Joe Harris and TLC that stuff happens, and it's not their fault. That was just a microcosm of what the game was like tonight. We had the lead. We were pretty comfortable. And then down the stretch, we just still got to be hungry until it's zeros on the clock. And as you saw, Washington was very desperate. And we expect them to play well tonight. Anytime the team goes up against us, we expect them to start hitting things that, you got to give respect, but at the same time, it's going against a good Brooklyn Nets team. So we just take this one on the chin and keep it moving.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Kyrie, 72 points in the paint that you guys gave up. You're undersized a little bit. You lost a lot of size in the trade. Do you think that that's a persistent issue that needs to be addressed somewhere going down the line in this season?
We'll see. Like I said, we have the group that we have in our locker room right now. I'm grateful to be playing every day with them. And, though we'll allow the outsiders say we're undersized, we believe that we should be, winning every single game based upon our effort and based on, our offensive firepower. So, obviously the eye test, we're not necessarily passing it in terms of having all the big guys in the league. But like I said, we just got to match other teams' effort. And we've been doing that lately and, successful road trip. And now we get back home and play against a good Clippers team.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Kyrie. You kind of alluded to it. But obviously when you're up 18 at any point and 5 with 12 seconds left, you would think you would win that game. But do you think that kind of thought process crept in earlier than it should have? Like maybe you guys had it in your brain, okay, we've got this salted away.
Well, I can't speak for everybody in the group, particularly what they're thinking. But I could say that, down the stretch, that's where we really got to make our mark, and we usually do. And tonight, like I said, stuff happens, and we got to take this one on the chin. It's no one's fault. If anything, we individually take our own efforts where we can be better, and then we move forward.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Kyrie, how are you assessing that last sequence? Bradley Beal hitting the 3, the inbound pass steal, and then that 3 from Russell Westbrook. And then secondly, are you looking at that as the culprit of this loss, or was it more of a we shouldn't have been in that position, and you're kind of looking at the breakdowns before that?
Yeah, like I said, it was a microcosm of the night, and I would never put blame on anybody. Not one person can take one play that could dictate the game. We were up by 5 and we lost the game. And that's okay. Like I said, stuff happens, but we cannot continue to make a habit out of late game situations and not being, aware of the execution we need down the stretch. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one to bite on the chin because we definitely, like you said, we definitely had the lead down the stretch and we want to finish that strong, but it's okay.
Thank you.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Kyrie, can you break down that last inbound play from your perspective when you have KD, you got TLC, and can you just go through what your decision-making process was on there?
Well, they doubled on KD from the baseline side and the top side, and I was just trying to use my eyes and kind of my ball fake to get the defense to bite. And as soon as I saw them bite a little bit going to KD, threw it straight to TLC, had a great chance to make a left-hand layup. Unfortunately, it didn't go down. But I like our odds in that situation. And also, making that shot, they would have had to come down. They had no timeouts. Could have gone either way, but it didn't go our way tonight. And like I said, it's not TLC's fault. It's more or less a couple plays before then I feel like we could have separated a little bit more, in terms of getting that way.
There in the fourth quarter for the Wizards. I mean, it sticks out like a sore thumb. 48 points in 12 minutes. My Lord.
Most points allowed in that final quarter in the NBA this season. Beal with 22 in the fourth. The Nets also 17 turnovers in this game, led to 25 points for the Wizards. Let's hear from head coach Steve Nash.
What were you seeing on the
good. For more on that, let's hear from Ian Eagle and Richard Jefferson. Bird?
Thank you, Bob. This one is going to sting for a while for Brooklyn. The Nets had this game in their hands down the stretch, up by 5. Bradley Beal makes that 3, a steal. Russell Westbrook makes a 3. And then the Nets still have enough time to maybe get the W. Richard, Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot misses inside, and the Nets take a very tough loss in Washington, D.C. Wizards have won 4 games, 2 of them against Brooklyn.
And look, let's not understate the whole Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, just kind of competitiveness. So you know that Russell Westbrook is locked in. Tonight he had 41, 10, and 8. Those are the old Russell Westbrook numbers. And he still has a ton of fire. But ultimately, the Nets are shooting the ball at an amazing rate. And you can talk about defense. You can talk about a lot of things. But ultimately, if you have 17 turnovers to 7, if you're shooting 54% and you're giving up 50%, your scoring is going to be negated by, your turnover issues. And so they have to correct that. But these were, some amazing performances by the Brooklyn Nets. Joe Harris, Jeff Green played outstanding tonight. There was just a lot of positive things for the Nets, but ultimately the turnovers and the lack of defense late, really hurt them.
And coming up, it is the Los Angeles Clippers on the schedule. Everybody around the league is curious to see how the two teams will match up. Indicator is that the Harden injury is not very serious. The hope is that